Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us. We're here today to get to know Joanna Czub a little bit better. She is a new artist to Westland Gallery, and she's exhibiting with us as part of our figurative exhibition, which is on now and continues until June 5th. Hi, Joanna.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Thanks for taking a little time out of your day to
Thank
chat with me.
you. It's a nice break from, homeschooling a 9 and a 5-year-old. So
Yes.
anytime.
Well, I'm very impressed that you're still finding time to be creative, because I'm sure that that's a challenge for a lot of people who are stay-at-home parent, like have their kids at home right now and are also trying to get time in the studio. Is your studio in your home?
Yes, so it's one of the bedrooms converted into a studio for me. I used to be in the living room, but now I actually get a room that I can close the door to and have a little peace, and make it as messy as I want. So
Yeah,
that's nice.
that's great. Well, we really love your work, and we were excited to have it on display with us. I was reading a little bit about you, and you were actually born in Poland.
Mm-hmm.
And you mentioned that you've been creative since a very young age. So can you tell me about some of your early influences and what kind of creative passions?
So my mom is an artist. She stopped painting a few years ago, but she was a huge influence. I don't think I'd be painting if it wasn't for her, for sure not. I was actually on. I was about to become an engineer, believe it or not, when I was in Poland, and then when I was 15, we moved here. But I started painting very early, and I remember she would actually take me out of school. Usually it was in May and June, so around this time, and we would go for 2-3 weeks out in the nature because she did landscapes, and we would just camp out for weeks, and she would paint and I would just be around. So that was my first memory of that. And she introduced it to us very early, my brother and I. And I think I did my first oil when I was 6 or 7. Yeah.
Wow. That's an amazing early art education, actually, really hands-on experience. And not many people get, the painting outdoors experience, like that plein air landscape experience so early. So that's amazing. I can see how that would have a big influence on your pursuing art. And you did pursue art. You've got an undergraduate degree from OCAD. Can you tell me about your experience at OCAD?
So I think figurative art is more appreciated in Europe. I do follow a lot of British artists and European artists. I also remember whatever my mom painted sold. Like, it was not, here it is more idea based.
Yeah.
So when I started OCAD, it was a college, so it was fantastic. It was still a lot of old school teachers who were hands-on. They had a lot of experience. And then I think my last year it's changed to a university, and that you could really feel that change. A lot of new professors came in, and it was more about ideas. So I remember in my last year, nobody wanted to look at figurative art. And I did have to fight for it.
Yeah.
So that was my experience. But I'm glad I did it because I learned a lot with my mom. But it wasn't until I went to OCAD that I actually had experience with a model, right?
Yes.
Which was
Very
huge for me.
valuable.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's interesting, kind of your experience at OCAD, because looking at your work, it is kind of that bridge between ideas and this really technical expertise in terms of like realism, figurative painting. And you also did a degree in psychology, which I imagine comes into play a little bit in bringing those kind of background ideas and stories into your work. So
Yeah.
how does that intersect for you?
I think very much. So psychology was my first love. Yes, I was going into engineering, then I went to psychology, and then I like totally changed direction after I got married. Actually, I went to OCAD. But yeah, I try to show emotion, I think feelings. There's a lot of ideas about beauty and feminism and what it means to be beautiful or forced to be beautiful. So there's a lot of psychology in it for me, I think personally, but also a lot of what I experienced. So I think I found during COVID, my art changed, and a lot of political things, I think, and
Mm,
just everyday events came into play, but also through my eyes. So I think more my psychology of looking at things. Yeah, but still figure. I think figure is a really fantastic way to express emotion and feeling.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That human element, right, can't really be replaced by anything else. So you've been dedicated to figurative work for a long time, ever since your OCAD days.
Yes. I always liked it. I just wasn't very good at it until OCAD. But from first year, I made it a point of taking a lot of figure classes.
In
Everyone was, yeah.
Yeah. In terms of developing your technical precision, because like you're very experienced in
Detail.
realism painting and detail. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So was that primarily through life drawing that you found your way to that, or did you educate yourself outside of the opportunities in school?
I It was a lot of at OCAD, but I was always into realism, and I think again it comes from my mom. We painted and we drew what we saw,
Yeah.
um, and then we just did it. And my mom always said, you have to do something for 10,000 hours to
Yeah.
be an expert at it. So
Yes.
just keep
Yeah.
doing it and keep doing it and keep doing it. And I'm 43, so I've been doing it for a very long time. So I think that's how it comes about. And I am very a detailed person.
Yep.
Um, I'm really good in math too. So I think,
Yes, well, you were considering engineering, so I imagine
yeah,
you have that analytical side too and
yeah,
mathematical side. Yeah.
yeah. So, and that also comes into play in psychology, the analysis, so yeah, very much detail oriented. I wouldn't say anal, but detail oriented for sure.
Absolutely. That's true for a lot of the realism artists that we work with, right? You like kind of the more meticulous aspects of it and really rendering kind of all that detail in really, really well and patiently, I imagine.
Very patiently and over. I do layers. I will. So my process is I'll take photos, then make collages, take photos of them. If it works, then I will transfer it, draw it, and then I do layers and layers and layers of paint. Yeah. So until I'm satisfied, it's not finished.
Yeah. That's you mentioned collaging, because when you look at your work, obviously you see a very much a collaging influence. So you're saying you actually make physical collages kind of as a study for your paintings? Fascinating.
Yeah, so I used to stage my photos. I would like wear gowns and stage the background. It was very elaborate. So I would actually involve my dad, my mom, my husband. Everybody would be helping me out. And then I took this collage class at a community center.
Yep.
Um, and it opened up, I was like, I don't have to stage these photos anymore. I could take a photo of this and a photo of that and take a selfie and then cut them up and rearrange and then take as many photos as I want, then scroll through them and pick the one that I really like. So it's a much easier way to work,
Yeah.
for me. Yeah.
That's a great technique. And it really does make your work stand out. Like there's something very distinct about the way that you're blending kind of collage and realism. You
Thank
also
you.
have some botanical influences in a couple of these pieces. Any significance there for you?
Uh, so the flower for me, I think there's a really easy way to translate it into feminism, beauty, fleeting beauty,
Mm,
loss of prime of beauty, maybe in the eyes of, it could be female, but male. So what I really like is these flowers that are kind of almost on the other side of being pretty, like they're
yeah,
starting to fall apart, they're starting to turn brown, they're starting to lose petals, because I always find that's more interesting, and I find people are more interesting when they're on the other side of that 20 age bracket kind of thing.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
and like the imperfections that there are
yes,
in a flower or a person as we change and
Yeah.
grow. It also makes me think of just the challenge of dealing with flowers in the realm of realism art, because a lot of the still life painters that work in realism, right? It's so
Mhm.
challenging because you have this limited time frame in which you can capture those
Yeah.
before they start to fall. So yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So yeah, I run around with my camera, usually my iPhone. So this year was actually pretty good because the magnolias were blooming for about a month.
yes.
But my kids even know, okay, we're going to photograph magnolias, and we just go on a trip and we photograph. Yeah.
Yeah. Have you passed on any of your creativity to your kids?
I think my younger one. So we go to the lake shore, and he started collecting sea glass of various colors. He made this whole collection of it, and then he created a design out of it, and hot glue gun it, and I framed it, and he gave it to me for Mother's Day.
Oh,
Um, and it wasn't. I think it came purely from him. I did not encourage it in any way, but I think just seeing me, uh, yeah, he very much wants to do the same. Yeah.
oh, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So, seeing as you are new to our audience at Westland Gallery, and we're in this lockdown right now, but hopefully people are able to see your work in person soon when we're able to open the doors again. And they can come by and see your work through the front windows right now. It's on display there in the front room and will be until the 5th of June. So please, if you're in London, feel free to wander by and look at Joanna's beautiful work. So is there anything, what do you hope our audience at Westland Gallery, when they're looking at your work, what do you hope their takeaway is?
Ah, it's hard. I just hope they enjoy it, and that it makes them think about what I'm trying to portray. But I don't particularly want them to see exactly what I'm trying to explain. I'm really very much interested in what they see. So what it brings up for them. Some people in the past, some people love my work, but some people are uncomfortable with it. And I have to say, my mom is one of them. She has a very hard time looking at cut up faces. Uh, so I just hope it stirs something in them that they haven't thought of before. And it brings them a little bit of joy, hopefully.
Yeah, that's what art does, and what we hope art does, especially through this time when we really need it. So please, as I mentioned, to anyone who's in the area, take a wander by. If you're not in the area, there is a video tour of the exhibition up on westlandgallery.ca and on our Facebook page. So you can take a look at Joanna's beautiful work there, or just on our website as well.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much, Joanna. This was very nice to get to know you a little bit.
Thank you for chatting with me and asking me all these questions. It always makes me think of new things as well. So,
New ideas.
yeah, new ideas for the future.
Fantastic. So thank you again.
Thank you.